Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 112. Simon Plum, aka Simon Pure, has been reunited with old friend Albert Einstein and a murderous, albeit refined old enemy, Benedict Arnold. Benedict is down to make the whole Plum family immortal. But what will Mrs. Plum have to say about that? Well, I'm Snoggle, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Nick. And we're going to discuss it today. How are you doing, my dear?
Well, now I'm thinking deeply about whether or not we as a family would choose to be immortal. But
And that's a no thanks for me.
Oh, see, I don't think it usually rolls out that way. I think usually most people go, heck yeah. And then it doesn't work out the way that they hoped. But ironically, our protagonist in this case did not choose his fate. It just fell in his lap. I
think I could roll with it.
Right? Yeah.
If it happened to me, it would be what it would be, you know?
And we're going to talk more about why this matters so much on this particular episode, but we would be remiss if we did not get through a few other items before a spoiler pause. Otherwise, we may ruin it for anyone who has not read Redcoat 18.
Oh, that's true. Whoops.
And to kick it off as usual, we would like to give a shout out to a new friend that is a stranger on the internet. And it's the Instagram account, The Comic Book Report. Love it. It's one that I probably don't have to spell out for you. That's a rare occasion. So it's literally The Comic Book Report, spelled exactly the way that it sounds. It's a really cool account. And they recently collaborated with us and Jeff Johns as well with a cool Have You Been Reading Ghost Machine post that featured all of the deluxe hardcovers. So it was the Geiger 1 and 2 deluxe hardcovers, the Junkyard Joe deluxe hardcover, and the Brook Exodus deluxe hardcover. He didn't have the Redcoat one in his reel, but the account, it looks like it's Dominick Groves. That's the name on the account. So shout out to Dominick at the Comic Book Report. Looks like he does a lot of cool other stuff as well. So make sure to check that out. And thanks so much for collaborating with us, Dom.
Yeah, it's awesome.
See, when you call someone Dominick Dom, you immediately think you're supposed to say it's because we're family.
Gosh.
But enough about
too fast, too furious.
And I'm too fast, too furious out of here because Snoggle is in the newsroom.
Today is Wednesday, June 17th, which just so happens to be the release date of the highly anticipated $1 Trillion Kid #1. It features art by Stefano Simeon and words by Peter Tomasi and Jeff Johns. $1 Trillion Kid #1 marks the beginning of the 4-part summer crossover, The Unbelievables, which also features the Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo. Also on the stands today is Redcoat #18, the issue we are deep diving into on this very episode. And don't forget, the next final order cutoff date is right around the corner on June 22nd, which will be the last day you can pre-order your copies of the Hyde Street Volume 2 trade paperback and the Rockefellers #13.
Rockefellers 13. There's also a cool nugget in there, which is that the 1 for 20 retailer incentive cover is by Francis Manipool, and it's featuring an anthropomorphic crocodile alligator fella that looks really cool with a top hat and a cane The cane has a tennis ball on it, and it says the curious creatures of Dr. Moreau. And then it says it's labeled Seymour. So it looks like the guy's name is Seymour. So that is, I believe, like one of Francis's character studies for one of the new Unbelievables groups, which is the curious creatures of Dr. Moreau.
That's really cool.
I think the spin on it, because remember we saw in that like one panel about them, they were like cutting somebody's hair or just doing something nice, and they were all being cuddly. I think that the spin must be like, as opposed to it being this, creepy, like what it is in the story, that they must be like really nice, wholesome, anthropomorphic people or animals, however you say it.
It's unbelievable, is what I tell you.
I tell you, almost as unbelievable as some additional, I must tell you, urgent footnote news.
Huge news.
Big deal. Kind of a thing that's happened before around these parts. I see a trend forming, perhaps. There was recently a story, only a story, mind you, although there may be some of us with screenshots of this story floating around on the internet. But a story on Instagram was posted by Jeff Johns and Maytal Zahoot. I think it was Ghost Machine Pro that posted a picture of those two folks holding what appeared to be a sisterhood script that one would presume was completed. So it sounds like something that's hopefully going to become something more like the Redcoat movie.
I'm wondering, is this going to be a mini series where it's like 4 to 6 episodes? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. Mini series, movie, who knows?
Who knows where that could go, but excited for it. Really great story. When we were reading it, we regularly said, oh my gosh, that would look so great on screen, especially if they utilize a lot of Layla's aesthetic design elements, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Super cool. Exciting news. But we're not talking about the world of Hyde Street, where Sisterhood took place. Today, we're back to the world of the Unnamed, the core. We're talking about our favorite immortal, Simon Pure. But before we talk about the 18th issue of this series, we need a quick rundown of the covers that are available today, Wednesday, June 17th, when it came out.
This is going to shock you, but the A cover is a wraparound.
By Brian Hitch?
Yeah.
Nothing if not consistent. This man even puts wraparound covers on series that are for the other universes.
Mm-hmm.
We are very fortunate to get Brian's wraparound, amazing cover. Once again, we've got Benedict Arnold with that cloak with the American flag, and he's holding up Simon and his family in blue flame with Albert Einstein at his feet, and the Axe of Lies is also on the ground right in front of Albert.
What's interesting is Simon looks in anguish and his family looks happy.
I think that Simon and his wife look in anguish and the children look happy. Perhaps as if the children do not know what's going on.
This is a mystery.
It is. And
I like it.
Not on minor detail, but they all appear to be in front of a rather substantial statue of George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes you wonder, are they going to end up in a George Washington temple? Because we do know that the guys in this issue are trying to do something, related to that. So we'll talk about that here in a few. It's a beautiful cover. Thank you, Brian.
Beautiful.
Colors by Brad Anderson, as always.
Brad Anderson.
What'd you think of this B cover? It's kind of fun.
Kind of fun. Was that the Hindenburg? No, that's not the Hindenburg.
It's not. And that's a cool observation. At least I don't believe it is, because it does say U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
It does say GM101. I'm assuming that just means Ghost Machine. I believe we have seen another variant cover that did have the Hindenburg crashing behind it, or a blimp of this nature. And In this case, Simon's like coming down a rope ladder. Really love the motion there. It's cool.
Who did this cover?
Leonardo Colaprietro. And I've seen him do a lot of cool covers that are very artistic and they're very like out there.
Uh-huh.
And he did a really cool Ninjak cover once. But did you notice how like this cool like steampunky frame or whatever?
Yeah.
It has in the bottom left the symbol of the founding fathers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I think there's going to be a story involving Simon and a blimp now that we've seen him on 2 different blimp covers.
Exciting blimp story to come.
Don't hear a lot about blimp adventures nowadays.
Well, we brought up the Hindenburg. I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah, they stopped making them.
Well, all it took is one big boom boom.
That's a fantastic cover by Leonardo Colaprietro.
Mm-hmm.
And give him a Google. He's got some really interesting covers out there. And those happen to be all the covers that are available for you when you pick up this issue at your local comic book shop. And that makes this your official spoiler pause for Redcoat 18. And we're here, we're back, we're ready for Simon Plum, a.k.a. Simon Pure, a.k.a. the Family Man. But to do that, we need a proper creator roll call.
We've got Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch, our creators. Our anchors are Andrew Curry and Brian Hitch. Our color artiste is none other than Brad Anderson. Our king of letters is Rob Lee. We've got our designer, Steve Blackwell, and friend of the show, editor Brian Cunningham.
The greatest editor in all the land and the king of letters should go on an adventure, I think. Just saying, like a side piece. Remember how Brian was talking about making like an internet comic about his years at Wizard?
Mm-hmm.
They should make like just a funny little thing to run at the end of the books. Maybe just a 1-panel thing at a time. And the first panel of this comic book is a little foreboding. Yeah, it's a closet
where his Redcoat's hiding in the back. I feel like, is this the first one where it starts with my name is Simon Plum?
I think that they did that last time, but it was more like leading you into the happy story of Simon Plum, not so much this.
Yeah, I mean, when it starts with like the hidden Redcoat in the closet, my name is Simon Plum, at least that's what I told her. Ugh.
Yeah, so it sets the tone kind of right away that this is going to be about him and her, because then the first piece of dialogue is happy birthday, my love, because they're having a birthday party for him, which is ironic in and of itself as a concept. And I like how she says, his daughter says, how old are you, Daddy? And he says, old enough to stop counting.
Some more just to lay it on thick how happy he is. And to know each year with all of you is a gift.
Well, he's a happy guy, and that's good. But catch us up, because that's not where this issue left off. Where this issue left off is where this next beautiful 2-page spread brings us to.
So Simon went with, and I do like the way they caught us up as well, because it says like, hey, I met up with my friend Albert. He came to give me a warning because Benedict Arnold had escaped. But before, we could find Benedict found us. Goes through the fact that Benedict swears up and down he's not Simon's enemy. And then they took him to Paul Revere's house because, Benedict's like, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to give you all this stuff so you can be with your family. And there's lots of silver there, too.
help a bunch of the families of the people that he axe murdered as soon as he came out of the water naked and enraged.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went there. They went to Paul Revere's house, ended up the wall getting caved in because these hooded people were there after they went into the secret part. And right now, Albert and him are like in this subterranean area that is getting flooded, and they're dragging Benedict away. And the guys in the hoods are straight up like, we have Benedict Arnold. Those other two are not our concern. So it's like very clear. They're not even like, kill them so they don't follow us. They're just like, deuces. We're good. We just need this guy.
Yeah. Hurry.
But the narration continues to be Simon in the background being like you said, it catches you up, but it also is kind of referencing Benny. He claimed he finally understood what he truly wanted, not power, but a family of his own, as he's getting dragged away by 3 hooded dudes that claim to work for George Washington.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, Albert, buddy, you okay? And immediately is like, I gotta go catch these guys.
Once he confirms Albert's breathing, essentially.
Yeah.
He pursues them, still reminding us about how they ended up in the flooded area. And they, at that point, though, like he's following them and they're just like, go, 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 go. It seems more like they just got to get out and they don't want physical conflict. Did you get that impression?
Yes, 100%. Well, I mean, here's the thing. They also like kind of tell him what's up. He's like, I know the robes you have on. What do you want? And who sent you? And 2 of the guys point guns at him, right? Bullet won't stop me for long. It's one of the guys, long enough.
Right. And that shows that they do know very clearly what's going on. They don't seem like the sycophants that they dealt with before that were more like just total idiots. And I think it's kind of like implied this is a different generation of them or a different group, even though they wear the same stuff. Because they say they serve in the name of George Washington. Yeah. In the name of.
I do like how one of them, I mean, because he doesn't have to answer the questions, by the way. He could just tell him, beat it. But he says, let me answer him, my brothers.
Right. And that all they reveal that the reason they want him is just that they say Benedict Arnold is a traitor. And that they don't indicate like they want to sacrifice him. They want to do anything or whatever. Like there has to be a reason. And
yeah, it's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because, here we are thinking, I don't know. We've always been like, is he really going to do good? He's kind of a really bad guy. But now he's getting kidnapped by people who we really think are bad guys.
I don't know. Remember? Because like the last time we saw George Washington was in that earlier issue where he picked up a book that washed up on the shoreline. Yeah. And it just seems like the presence he's given when he's drawn. I feel like if he was evil and this was all one day going to circle back to like the evil George Washington, everything, I don't feel like they would represent him in the ways that they have visually, where he like looks like a commander of people and like, and all that. And so I wonder where are these guys really going? Do they really have access to him or not? Because they say they serve in his name. It sounds like they want to like catch the traitor to maybe get in his good graces or something.
I mean, that could be very true. I'm sure there's still a lot of people who are like, what do I have to do to get that immortality?
Right.
Like, come on.
They get away though, because the water is still rising where Albert is and he's got to go save him.
Water rose pretty fast, by the way. Like a dire situation.
And they're like, he's basically putting Albert to bed. Albert's trying to tell him, don't deal with any of this anymore, essentially, I think is what he would like to happen. And Simon wants to go after him. And he thinks that Albert knows where to find him. And that makes sense because Albert Einstein's like a really observant, intelligent, everything.
Genius.
he's like, it's a place you shouldn't go, and it smells of salt and coal and gunpowder, and that means the harbor, because I guess everything is imported or exported from there.
Mm-hmm.
And fortifications from the war buried beneath the docks is what he's referring to when it's the gunpowder.
Yeah, like, obviously he doesn't want Simon to go, but when Simon says it isn't right to let him die, the way Albert responds is of someone who is truly a friend, because he says, who are you speaking of, Mr. Pure? Mr. Arnold or your family? Because he knows that, yes, it's a yes and situation. He really doesn't want to lose the one thing that he believes will help keep his family immortal with him.
That's not mainstream comics, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. You know, and you get a lot there from the light in the moment, because he says that, and then there's a panel where he picks up a lantern with no dialogue, and that is a pause that is up, the length of which is up to the reader.
Yeah.
Right. But it is meant to be more than a beat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then he tells him to get some rest, maybe like 2 or 3 beats.
Dramatic pause in comic book form.
Absolutely.
And then he goes and sees his kids.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Daddy, are you okay? So sad.
Super sad. He's checking on them.
And the dream is so foreboding of, like, living forever, mind you. We were at the fair again with the lights. You kept winning me the same little bear over and over. And every time it got late, the sun just came back up again.
And he says, that sounds like a nice dream. And then he goes and he looks at his Redcoat.
We could just stay there.
So remember when I was saying we were talking about this later, and if we were in this situation, if I'm Simon,
yeah,
I don't, unless there's any reason like that the mechanics of this, like in the Dungeon Master's Guide to the Unnamed says otherwise. My understanding of this is that if he is to go through with this now, he will damn both of his children to forever be the age that they are now. And that's kind of rough as the mind matures and the body doesn't. You know, if you've ever seen Interview with the Vampire, that's that Kirsten Dunst, right?
Poor little Kirsten Dunst.
Absolutely. And it's in other stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that one would be kind of rough for me. I would be like, hold on. Like, we got to get them to like 22, 23, 24, or like really healthy, happy. Like, this isn't the right moment.
Yeah, you make mom immortal, because good age, right?
Right. Yeah. And then we get the process down.
I think at least between the ages of 18 and like 22. 18's fine. I'll say it, like, I would never, given the choice, being like, right now, make your son immortal. Absolutely not. He's 10.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, that would be, I wouldn't do it in the moment.
No. All right. Yeah. So there are parts of it that, like, I can understand how she reacts to the news. Like, Nick, if you came to me and you were like, listen, I got to tell you something. Yeah, ever since we've known each other for the, 14 years, like, I've actually been immortal. And la 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 la. One, I wouldn't believe you. She's far too accepting of believing him very easily. She says, like, something's going on with you. They go through kind of a back and forth where she's like, please just talk to me. Tell me what's going on. And then he tells her everything.
I think that Brian did something masterful, because he's talking and talking and talking, but it's all like, I love you guys, and you're the best thing I've ever had. I love you guys. I'm alluding to living too long and being not being entitled to this life and happiness and blah, blah, blah. then he's in the last panel before it's just that he tells her everything. It's a panel that he says, my name is not Plum, it's Pure, Simon Pure. And you see her in her motion is that she pulls her hand away from him towards herself, towards her face. And she says, Pure, question mark? Mm-hmm. And you know that that's where it begins. The separation began there. The separation began at, there was a deception, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like in her mind and in her heart, I feel like that's where this, like the schism, the crack was found. And I will tell you that to answer your question, if I came to you and I told you like in this like very dark, morose, bad, not selling it at all way, I think I wouldn't blame you. I just probably wouldn't tell you like this. You know, it's like the worst time to give this type of information. But you're right. She doesn't seem to like question it because she just says it's a curse. You know, it's not natural.
It's witchcraft. And we've got to think a little bit about the times.
We do know that there's some religious element because she does have a cross in her bedroom and in the children's bedrooms. He says that, you know, he's got to go or we may lose the chance at all of us becoming like him. And she's just scared. Like she doesn't seem to be enticed by that at all. Like she even says, Simon, I don't understand who you are anymore, what you are. And this is all one conversation, man.
I know. He says, I'm still the same man you've known these last 10 years who fell in love with you the day we met. Then they kiss. She's kind of crying. It's like the saddest kiss ever. And he hugs her and she's crying some more.
Yeah. I mean, they have 2 children. They've been together at this point, probably at least 8 years or something, maybe 6 years, depending on the age of those kids. And
he said 10.
One of them was 10?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
He said 10.
Oh, he said
they've been together for 10 years.
I mean, that's a long time. And,
that's what I'm saying.
You know, and
she's like, I mean, I get what she says. She says, I can't do this. It's wrong. It feels wrong. I'm like,
Yeah, and you got to think about it. Ultimately, the character would come to this conclusion. It's showing us how painful it is in the moment and how it'll affect him. It probably hits him really hard because of how quickly it is, because it's not like an exposition of like, yeah, I tried to help her and then we went out to lunch a lot. We tried to make it better and help her understand. And in the end, she couldn't overcome her feeling of, no, it's just like he says, I love you. And she says, I don't know you anymore. And then he leaves and says, please don't give up on us.
I like love rough. You. I don't know you anymore. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, you could at least be slightly intrigued. She's not even like, she's just like, no.
Yes, there's no contemplation.
It makes sense that we took so long to get him to this point of being a decent human being. And now he's a decent human being pretty much all around because of how his family motivated him to be so.
Yeah.
Ultimately, his gift, his power, whatever that he has is going to be the thing that easily swept that away. And so I can see why he ends up back in a bed with a bottle.
Yeah.
That's not what he's doing right now. He's going on the mission. He's
investigating.
He's going to the harbor. I like stuff like this. It's like the building that he's going to says Al Pickard and Son. And that makes me wonder if that was something that Brian researched and put in there for a reason. But he's going down through an area that looks like, kind of gated. I'm assuming it's like a warehousey type of thing, but it looks like kind of like catacombs, but he can see some footprints. And then he runs into Benedict Arnold and his captors. And the evil guy says, well, who knows? These could all be different evil guys at this point. Where is Washington's axe? You had it when you rose from the water. And he's acting like he doesn't remember. But that's what they're apparently holding him and torturing him for at the moment.
Which is interesting because why do they care about where the axe is?
Maybe they want to get it for George Washington. Or maybe they want to use it to kill other immortals if they know what it does. I don't know. But Benedict is just patronizing them, saying he's hidden so many things throughout the years he doesn't remember, and they're just branding him with like a hot poker.
Like, hey, we know that you'll not die, but you definitely can feel pain.
And so they're in like this basement, a catacomb thing, and all around the edges of it are barrels. All right. And these geniuses in these hoods, they put hot pokers in a large flaming brazier.
Yeah, which I find hysterical.
Like within 10 feet of these large barrels of gunpowder.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, and as such, like, there's a little tussle, and some gunpowder barrels get knocked over.
Yeah, like, duh.
And Benedict actually seems like slightly moved by the fact that Simon showed up to help him.
Mm-hmm.
But right away, he's like, no, don't forget what you promised. You better be ready to fight, buddy. Then we have a massive explosion.
But then, Benedict, you old fool rushing in without a plan. Stop digging under the dirt like a worm. Educate yourself. And then they just shoot him in the head.
Yeah, because he just starts like berating him. Rise above the common man, stand in the old house and judge like a king. And then he gets shot in the head. Like, well, why didn't you guys do that before? Like, why? Like, just take him wherever you're going to ultimately take him and then torture him there.
Maybe because they know that the axe has to be nearby.
Well, somewhere. It could be at the bottom of the harbor at this point. But he makes it home. Looks like he's limping. Definitely been through a lot. Looking for Maggie and the kids.
Yeah.
And this is where I feel that Jeff and all of the other creators he works with in Ghost Machine, the artists, are great at silent storytelling. And it kind of reminds me of the silent panels at the start of Redcoat 7 where he's like getting ready for the day. And instead it's a big panel of the city and the sun coming up, him getting home, him looking around, seeing that nothing in the kitchen has been used recently.
The first coat's there.
And his coat is laying out on the table with a note for him.
Not good. It's shocking to, first of all, Simon's eyes when the letter begins, Simon,
Yeah, the glassy eyed thing.
Oh, because he knows. He knows. You see a letter like that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Sucks.
She says she can't make sense of what he told her. She's tried, but that she cannot quiet the feeling that something has been standing in this house with them long before she ever knew his real name. I think she's essentially saying she found the coat in the literal sense, but saying there's a lot more in the metaphoric sense.
I just don't, obviously, this just makes me sad.
It's super sad because it's like, wait, why are you saying, because she's saying that the man she fell in love with changed with her children, grew with her children, belonged to them and her. And it's like, well, that's not really changing.
No.
Like that actually
immortal.
is, it's all true. And if you could take a few minutes and have a conversation about this, then you would actually see that what you're saying is truer now more than ever for your husband. And so it's like, if you just what would the alternative have been? Would have been like on date 1 and then you would have been cool with this?
Like I said, I don't love this. I do not love this reaction. I do think like with the times, like I said, I do think it makes it a lot different that this is far before the world we live in today, right? But like you've been with this person for a decade. She doesn't even tell him where she's going, right? So I'm taking them somewhere quiet, somewhere small, somewhere time still behaves as it should. If there's a part of you that still belongs to us, find it.
To me, that...
Like, figure it out, my little riddle.
Right.
Also, didn't give you a chance to tell your kids goodbye. Like, come on. I'm very unhappy with this development.
Yes. And so I am happy with the story development.
Correct.
Because as much as I wanted this to work out for Simon, I want to read more about I like him more outside of this setting. I wanted it to work out for our buddy. But that being said, the way that she says that, A, sounds like she's not done. And B, it sounds as if she is trying to give him clues or hints, or it'd be otherwise it would be no, you couldn't expect him to just find them, right? That's not what's that going to test? Nothing. That doesn't seem to make sense, but it's necessary. We need this guy to get back out there, and he's got to go fight the blizzard and hunt that guy down for the government. And he's got to go in the far future and hunt down the glowing man. And he's got to be an unhappy, miserable dude. Or maybe that it's an alternate timeline and actually this works out. We're not done yet. We're not done with this arc yet.
We're not. I still don't like the response.
No.
I love the storytelling. I think the storytelling is great because, let's be honest, sometimes easy storytelling, and they all lived happily ever after. When they became immortal, Benedict Arnold wasn't a liar at all. And no other people came to try to stop them. There's a part of that feels good. But this is a very good, it's good storytelling.
Absolutely.
As much as it hurts me.
And the preview for the next one is very hurtful looking. It says, "Who wants to live forever? Not Simon Pure, not anymore." And it's this massive 2-page spread of him screaming to the heavens with his hands all bloodied with his redcoat on. And it's oh man, whose body is at his feet in that scene.
Yeah.
To be determined. Another fantastic issue from the world of the Unnamed. And if you haven't picked up your Redcoat Deluxe Hardcover Edition, there's an awesome advert for that in the back of this too. You got to get that bad boy. It's 472 action-packed pages.
Yeah.
But to wrap up this episode of the Ghost Machine Fans podcast, as usual, we have a listener mail.
What kind of mail?
A fantastic mail, actually. Would you like to read it?
Yes, it's from Jace Edwards. And he says, Jeff Johns is known for multiversal storylines in DC. Doomsday Clock is a very extreme example of this. Do you think we will ever see time travel in the Unnamed result in things like Flashpoint, where alternate timelines are created?
Are you familiar with Flashpoint?
Nope.
So in 30 seconds or less, imagine a world where Joe Chill ends up shooting Bruce and not Martha and Thomas. And Martha goes crazy and becomes the Joker. And Thomas becomes Batman. And then it's about a Thomas Wayne Batman. And Bruce is dead. And it happens because Barry Allen runs through the Speed Force into the past to save his mom, which is part of his origin. And in doing so, the butterfly effect, to simplify things, changes things to such a way that for whatever reason, the bullet hits Bruce and not Thomas and Martha. And so the story is, it's a Jeff Johns classic, and it's basically a thing where it's okay, Barry's got to change it back and he can't save his mom and blah, 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 blah. But it created the Flashpoint universe as well. There were other stories after that that involved the Thomas Wayne Batman and things like that. And Doomsday Clock is where the normal DC universe meets the Watchmen universe. And you've seen the Watchmen movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a question that, thank you, Jace Edwards, for sending us a fantastic mail. We appreciate that. And I guess it's kind of there's two kind of aspects to this question, because there's multiverse storylines and there's alternate timelines. And one could say that in the world of Ghost Machine, a multiversal storyline could be Rockefellers intersecting with Rook Exodus for some reason. Though usually a multiverse is all like multiple universes cut from the same thing. It's not like, a separate one. It's just like a different angle, like a different sheen on that one, right? Like when there were 52 or whatever, like however you look at it. To me, the question is more so, will like Rook and Rockefellers and the Unnamed ever cross over? I don't know, probably, maybe. It's not really what I would think about with this question. What I would think about with this question is if the people that represent the Department of Historical Preservation, or the ones that don't, but they can do stuff, or just Tariq and the Northerner with a watch on a tank, if they change something, like, for example, the Northerner's timeline, would that then create an alternate universe that's parallel, that then they could travel back and forth and there would be multiple Northerners and multiple Geigers? Or will it just fix time? Because in like classic Jeff Johns DC, a lot of stuff ended up overlapping because of stuff with time or tears in reality or whatever, but it was still all DC, whereas I think at Ghost Machine, it's more like all the Unnamed. But what do you think about alternate timeline stories and stuff?
Well, I kind of feel like we already somewhat have one. I mean, the Northerner comes from an alternate timeline where the South won.
Yeah, and presumably that exists, right? So the thing is, like, he's traveling through time, but if he's traveling back in time to essentially I guess he's traveling back in time, but before the timeline split. And so it makes you wonder, like, well, what would happen if he traveled back in time? Like, let's say that the Northerner and Simon Pure both have time travel watches on, and they're in the year 2035. Mm-hmm. And they both hit on their flux capacitor DeLorean. They type in 1965 and they travel back in time. Does that mean that because of the split where they're both from, that the Northerner pops out in his world where the South won and Simon pops out in the normal world?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because if the Northerner came from that timeline, since he's traveling back in time to try to change that timeline, isn't he leaving that parallel universe when he does so?
Maybe. All I know is timelines are fun, but I think there are so many different ways you can play with it. And that's why they're fun. Like, yeah, they could do something like that. And then the Northerner is in some, like, what would probably be a hellscape in the late 60s if the South won.
Good point. I will say this. If we see multiversal stuff or alternate timeline stuff, I doubt that it will be in the same vein as it was in DC, because that became part of their like DNA with crises every couple of years and multiverses.
Yeah.
Whereas I could see time travel and the alternate timeline, for example, that the Northerners from just being like a cool one-off thing, but they can utilize in really cool, creative ways. And I don't need to know that's what's fun about breaking all that down. To enjoy that story, I don't need the answer to any of those questions. I probably don't even want the answer to any of those questions to enjoy the story the most. But it's still fun to, like, you could diagram that out and you'd be like, well, where does he end up? I don't know. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
If you would like to be like Jace Edwards and send us a fantastic mail, we'd love to hear from you. A heckle, a comment, a question, anything. And you can send us an email at ghostmachinefans@gmail.com.
And don't we have something pretty special coming next week?
We do. Just as a friendly reminder to all you Ghost Machine fans out there, a week from today, June 24th, we will have Peter Snaberg himself as a guest on the show. That's the artist, as part of the Unbelievables crossover, and the dedicated artist on Hornsby and Halo, the co-creator of the book with Peter Damasi. Very, very excited to have this talented gentleman with a storied career in comics that is going to be on the show. And if you'd like to check out all of our other content, you can do that by visiting www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll find our social media platforms, our wiki, and if you'd like to join the conversation on Discord, you can find the invite in our profile on Instagram at Ghost Machine Fans or on the announcements on the Ghost Machine Comics Reddit.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast.
Dr. Moreau and the Gator Man Podcast.